Matt, what's going on down in Alabama? Judge Moore, we got CNN and MSNBC on here, but it's all, I got the Joy Reid show. Let me tell the audience, there's nothing better for me to be doing radio in the morning here and listening to the Voice of America and these callers, and I got Joy Reid up there ripping our face off nonstop on MSNBC. It's like two alternative universes. Boyle, what's going on in Alabama?
Yeah, well, look, obviously the allegations against Judge Moore that appeared in the Washington Post 2 days ago have roiled this Senate race down here. Judge Moore just did his first public event this morning here in Vestavia Hills, just outside of Birmingham. It was a Veterans Day event at the local public library, and there were about 50 to 60 supporters for Judge Moore who were there in attendance. And I think there were more media people there than
it had to be 60. It had to be 60 to 100 media. It was on TV.
It was the opposition party in full force, my friend. Right?
Amen, brother. If you think they're fair and anything, like let's cut to the chase here. The Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Washington Post, the weaponized the hit on Donald J. Trump on Billy Bush weekend. The same Bezos, Amazon, Washington Post, okay, weaponized this hit on Judge Roy Moore. Is there any doubt in your military mind, Matt Boyle, that's the truth?
That's 100% the truth. This is a weaponization of. Look, here's the deal. Judge Moore has been in the public eye for 40 years, okay? He was, when this supposedly happened, he was an assistant district attorney. He's been in 5 statewide elections. He's been in the center of major national controversies for 20 years. There's been national reporters, people that we know that have been coming down here and doing profiles on this guy for really since the early 2000s, the late 90s, right? I mean, Josh Green did a big profile on him back in for the Atlantic before he moved over to Business Week back in the early 90s when Karl Rove was coming after him. There's been tens and tens of millions of dollars spent against Judge Moore for decades. Because he represents a threat to the established political order in Washington, D.C., and the political class in Washington and really in Montgomery. And he's been a guy who's been standing up to the political class, whether it be the Ten Commandments fight or same-sex marriage or judicial supremacy and so on and so forth, for years and years and years. And so, again, for this to come out right now is pretty shocking, right? And that's the argument that the judge made in his speech this morning. Is he laid out the case that the Washington Post, all of a sudden, when he became the Republican nominee for the United States Senate on September 26th in this special election, they started launching a series of attacks on him. They endorsed his opponent. So they started attacking the Foundation for Moral Law, which is his foundation. They attacked his wife. They attacked him. And now this smear. And again, we don't want to get into victim shaming or anything like that. But again, the timing of this is very suspect. The details around it are circumspect. And I think the judge has a really solid case. And look, the people that were there at the event, the supporters there for Judge Moore, they gave him 2 standing ovations when he started criticizing the Washington Post and really. But
here's the question. Here's the question before us. This is the question that's got to be answered. Mm-hmm. This question's got to be answered, and it is going to be answered because we're going to get the answer. Okay, we know. Here's the interconnection. Here's how they're linked. Mm-hmm. I think they're linked, and we're going to find out. But I'm going to commit to this radio audience and everybody who goes to Breitbart. Okay? And the good folks of Alabama. It's quite interesting. We know now that this dossier that was dumped on Donald Trump, PAC lies, this dossier, by British intelligence, wherever this guy was, right? Dossier
had its origins in Republican opposition.
Not Republican opposition. Let's call it what it is. Paul Singer. Singer.
Right.
Who's Paul? He's Paul Singer, one of the biggest donors in the Republican Party. No, everybody else is afraid to say it. Breitbart and Stephen K. Bannon and Matt Boyle not afraid to say it. Paul Singer, the Washington Free Beacon. Was it Goldfarb and that crowd over there? Crystal, Bill, all the Never Trump guys. Okay, Understand something, America. They're the ones that did that dossier. Right? They're the ones who put that dossier together, and stuff is so crude. So crude. A pack of lies. To put a pack of lies about that together on a man that's running for president of the United States, and then to hand it off to the Democrats. His name is Paul Singer, and guess what? On Breitbart News and on Breitbart, we hold these guys accountable. I don't care if he's worth $5 billion. That does not matter to me. Okay, I got plenty of money, right? I got a daughter, graduate from West Point, sat on Saddam Hussein's throne with her weapon. I can die a happy man, okay? I did my duty, okay? Paul Singer doesn't mean anything to me. All the flunkies that work for Paul Singer don't mean anything to me. And guess what, brothers? We're coming for you guys, okay? Write it down, all of you. And I got to tell you, if we find out that they're Republican operatives, this thing, Mitch McConnell, all these guys piling in, and little Bobby Corker today, that whole posse. Guess what, folks? On Billy Bush weekend, I was there. Okay, when they all bailed. Campaigns come down. You got to have the strategy right. You got to have the tactics right. You got to make sure the plane shows up on time. You got to make sure the crowd's there. You got to do all of that. Okay, that's all the stuff that happens every day. Campaigns are like warfare. It comes down to one or two decisions. Okay, in the middle of a battle, it comes down to one or two decisions. Now, one decision is going to lead to victory, and the other decision is going to lead to defeat. Okay, that was Billy Bush weekend. Okay, and all that stuff that Donald Trump got attacked on, they tried to destroy him and his family, the politics of personal destruction. It's the politics of personal destruction down in Alabama. Have you heard one issue debated down there? Have you heard anything? No. This is about destroying Roy Moore. And you know why they want to destroy Roy Moore? They want to destroy anybody that will step up and speak in your behalf, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Judge Roy Moore, whether it's Breitbart News. They're at full-out war. And you know what our response is? Bring it. Bring it. You have not seen anything yet. You think we're going to back down 1 inch? You are dead wrong, folks. Paul Singer, write this down. And you and these Republican scumbags, and that's what you are, you operatives. And here's the good news, folks. We know your names, and more importantly, folks, we know your clients. Okay? This is called take out the sword and throw away the scabbard. You want war, Republican establishment? You're about to have war. Okay? And you have misjudged people dramatically because you think we're going to back down. This is not Mike Pence. Okay? This is not Mike Pence. We are not backing down 1 inch. Mitch McConnell, you're like a deer that's been shot. You're just going to bleed out, brother. You're just going to bleed out. I got you, okay? You're done. You think you're going to do that and bail on this guy? You're blaming us now for 5149. No, it's the Republican establishment. It's going to be proven, and we're coming after you. Boy, you got me all worked up now.
Dude, I got to say, Steve, that was about as honey badger as it gets right there, brother. But look, here's the deal. I think one of the things that Judge Morris talked about in his event this morning was that there are investigations underway, and we expect that there will come out evidence that demonstrates the collusion between the Democrat establishment, the Republican establishment, and the media.
This is the global elite, and this is why we call them the opposition party. Those 50 vultures that were there today, it's the opposition party, and they're working for this globalist. By the way, I want to make sure people understand. Paul Singer and Mitt Romney, you can't hide behind these little scumbags you got working for you anymore, okay? We're naming those guys. We're going to name all the clients. It's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. You're going to be held accountable. Okay, Mitt, you're not going to be able to walk in with a little button down and all the little nice sweater and the comb hair. You're going to send your attack dogs. You're going to get called out, brother. Okay? Paul Singer, you can't hide behind your money. Your money doesn't mean anything. It's the day of the internet. Doesn't mean anything, brother. All those hacks you got with the Washington Free Beacon and all these other hacks you've been paying, hey, doesn't mean a thing. So what we tell you guys right now, bring it. Bring it, brother.
the other thing I would just add is that, look, and this was a point that the chairman of the campaign, Bill Armistead, made as he was introducing Judge Moore, is that, look, Judge Moore's a good man, and he hasn't run a negative campaign. He hasn't put up these nasty attack ads that have been run against him. They ran $30 million of attack ads against him in the primary and the runoff. And look, now they're going to do it again. The entire political class is trying to take this guy down, just like they tried to take down Donald Trump. And in Judge Moore's response to that is to focus on the issues. While he addressed this for 4 or 5 minutes of his 30-minute address this morning, he spent the entire speech talking about veterans and Veterans Day and recognized all the veterans in the room. There was a guy who served with him in Vietnam.
Matt, we got to jump. We're going to come back to you next hour. Matt Boyle live in Alabama, where it's all on the line, folks. Go back to Alabama with Matt Boyle. So, Matt, give me the assessment. More shocked to me. They're all down there, all the pack of hyenas in the opposition party, all down there thinking that Roy Moore is going to crater in front of them, right?
Yeah, and I think he really handled himself well this morning. I think he did about as good as he could. Look, he had this long-time scheduled event that he was going to do for Veterans Day with a local Republican club at the and a lot of different veterans were there, including somebody who served in Vietnam with Roy Moore. He spent the vast majority of his speech this morning. He's talked for about 25 minutes. He spent the vast majority of the speech talking about the sacrifice that veterans make for us, the importance of the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, so on and so forth, and then address the allegations in the last few minutes of his speech. But the way they handled it, I really think he's doing well. Look, here's the point. The one thing that's pretty clear, and we're seeing this based off of a number of this isn't just Breitbart, this isn't just my read, this is all the different news reads out there. From CNN has done a story on this. The NBC News has. Those are national media outlets. The local ABC affiliate here has also done a story. They actually went out to a town and asked as many people as they possibly could whether they believe the allegations. They couldn't find a single person. That's the local ABC News affiliate here in Alabama that tried to, in Columbiana, tried to find a single person. They couldn't find one person who believed the allegations against Roy Moore. The NBC News says that people are staying with Roy Moore. The voters are sticking with him. CNN says that they're sticking with him. I don't think that this is going to really backfire on him that much. Sure, it set his campaign into a little bit of a tailspin, and so you saw the polls tighten a little bit after this. But I think if he gets back on track and focused on the message, again, on the core message of things like securing our country on immigration, rebuilding our military, doing tax reform, and so on and so forth. Those are the things that he wants to talk about. If he can get back to talking about that stuff, he's going to have no problem on December the 12th.
Matt Boyle, he's down in Alabama doing reporting on the scene. We got other reporters down there. By the way, it's the hottest place in America right now. They're flooding the zone down there with the opposition party. They're all over everything. Matt, thank you so much for doing that.
We will make America great again.